you got the high priest and the high priest. He knows what every level is a different devil, so he knows that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, like what y'all was saying earlier about how they can control the frequencies on how everybody's rapping on the negative. The thing about that also, the all is mental. So whatever you think about comes into fruition. So when everybody's spitting, you know, on these low frequencies, that's the reality that manifests for them. And they don't understand how powerful their mind is. You know, everything starts in the mind. The universe itself is mental. All is mental. You know,
mental energy, brother.
We the imagination of Allah. We is imagination.
We are Allah's man. I never heard that before. We are His imagination. I heard we were His creation, not His imagination.
Yeah, because it's mental energy, but to us, it's finite, it's physical, it's real. You know what I'm saying?
That's only because we on this plane.
Right.
But we know that we rise above this plane because we bring things from the realm of the unseen to the seen.
Yes, sir.
So people can, comprehend it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the comprehension of what we're trying to mention. Because if I ask you about a Skugga Mabob, you would say a Skugga Mabob. You searching your mental for it, then like, where is the Skugga Mabob? So I introduce the Skugga Mabob to you and tell you it's a little hairy thing with 3 legs and 1 eye. You done lock that into the mental. Okay, so when you hear it again, you say, I know what a Skugga Mabob is.
Right.
Everything, 3 heads, 1 eye. So the seed has been planted based upon the information given you at that time.
Yes, sir.
No information given you, the mind tends to wander and it tends to search for what it is that you are trying to display, what it is you want me to articulate. So definitely, that's definitely the fact. So,
yes, sir. I've seen the whole thing, like as far as like on the hip hop tip, like I like the intro on the Professor X. You know, they were scared of him, so you know. You know what I mean? Sugar Shaft, you know. And, you know, around that time when that came out, like, what is that, 90? Like, it was like 90, something like that. But I was in the 11th grade, and I had just got a Dr. Ben book. So when I'm listening to the X Clan, I'm listening to some Brother Jay's verses. I'm like, yo, I know what he's talking about. You know, he's talking about the scales of Mayat and all this and other things, you know. And everybody else was just, you know, vibing to their beats. They didn't know what they was talking about. But it's just it wasn't a coincidence. It was divine order that I had this book, so I could decipher what they was talking about. So that was like the soundtrack to the Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark books. Somebody just gave to me, like, yo, I think you need this. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. And that's when, you know, the first original interest sparked in, you know, just black consciousness in general, you know. But I'm saying, but definitely, man, the X Clan and that energy, they were so far ahead of their time, man. So politically, I was on that tip, you know, back then, and then I just kind of evolved, and that's how I got with the Haru, because that's when I was reading Dr. Ben and I was reading all this stuff, and I'm like, Haru. And coming from a Christian background, I put the dots. I'm like, oh, yo, I know where they got that from, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I roll with that on that tip, you know what I'm saying? So
you came from a Christian background?
Actually, my mama was Christian, but on my father's side, my grandparents was like one of the first people in the Nation of Islam, 90 years ago.
Oh, they the first people in the Nation of Islam?
They came from down south, and they
so that was in the 30s?
Yeah, that's about 90 years ago. My grandparents, Oliver Omega Jackson. My father's Ali Muhammad Jackson. He's a bass player. You know, my younger brother is drummer. You know, he plays with Marcellus and stuff. So we come from a jazz family. But my father's side was more Islamic, so I had to
before the coming of the sun.
Balance both, man. So you know.
Put it back on the thing, Mom.
I know if you ain't holding it right, he's gonna fall off.
Yes, I know it slipped, Mom. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
What is it doing, son? You done lost the whole connection. You cut the whole feed off.
Put mine down.